What's up, everybody? Renfail here. I just finished watching the season premiere of Star Wars: The Acolyte, and I have to say, it's everything that I love about Star Wars. The little 5-year-old child in me is like, yes, more lightsabers, more Jedi, more Force. I'm very happy overall. Obviously, I have a lot of questions. There are a few things I'm going to nitpick at as I go through the review of the first 2 episodes. But overall, very happy. It's more Star Wars. I'm a diehard Star Wars fan since I was a kid. I will be until you put me in the grave. You can't take the sky from me. Even though that's a different franchise, it still applies here. So, without further ado, we're going to be diving into Star Wars: The Acolyte, the first 2 episodes for the season premiere. If you haven't watched it, hit pause, go away, watch the first 2 episodes, come back because I will be spoiling everything in my review. I don't do spoiler free. So, you've been warned. Let's get going. So, first and foremost, there's a cast of somewhat familiar faces. For those of you who are familiar with Lee Jung-jae, he was in Squid Games most recently. I didn't know this. He actually learned English for this role, which I thought was really, really cool. He's playing a Jedi Master, who is one of the individuals who is, I guess, from what I can understand, there was something that happened 16 years ago. He's at the core of this, as are several other Jedi Masters. We have Amandla Stenberg, as she's playing 2 parts here, Osha and May, who are twins. We'll get into them here just a minute. Daphne Keane, who I remember first seeing in Logan, I think was the first thing I ever saw her in, and then obviously in Dark Materials for HBO. She's playing a Jedi Padawan. And then we've seen some other people like Rebecca Henderson, who we've seen in a few other things, Carrie Ann Moss, and a bunch of other people here. So there are a cast of new characters who we're going to have to get familiar with. So I'm going to probably forget the names as we go through. I do have the wiki up so that if I get confused with names, I can dip back in as I need to. So these are not it's not hugely familiar faces, which is a good thing in my mind when we're establishing a brand new show. This is set, I believe it's set 100 years before um, uh, the Empire stuff. So this is the High Republic era. So this is sort of Disney's brand new. We're establishing our own series of stories and everything else that aren't necessarily attached to anything that George Lucas did before, which I'm completely on board with because this gets them away from the stigma that people have with, but that's not canon and this is this isn't what Lucas did and they said this in the extended universe. This doesn't have to apply, the rules don't apply here. They have sort of open territory to kind of do what they want within somewhat of an established framework of these are sort of the Star Wars pillars of Star Wars lore. So it's great to have, on the one hand, you have things like Ahsoka, and we just wrapped up the Bad Batch, and of course the Mandalorian, which there is coming with a film. We have those shows that are sticking to the Skywalker saga storyline, so to speak. And established characters and lore and arcs, and this is something that's completely off the books, which is really a lot of fun. So, the core of the story, from what I can tell so far from the first 2 episodes, is we have her character. We start off with seeing her assassinating a Jedi, Carrie Ann Moss's character, who there's got to be more to this because she is there in the very first episode for a brief moment, gets taken out, and then she's gone. And I'm like, Carrie Ann Moss is way too big of an actress to just be here as a cameo. So I can't wait to see where her character is going to be coming back, Undara. So considering the fact that apparently the reason she assassinated her was twofold. One, apparently 16 years ago, she was left for dead while her twin sister was rescued by him, and she became his Padawan. So this is evil. The evil one is May, and this is where things get really confusing. And the good one is Osha. So Osha was the Jedi Padawan, but after some years of training, she just didn't pan out. So she was cast out of the order, and she has gone on to become a space mechanic. Now, because her twin has assassinated a Jedi, now people are out and they arrest her. And that's when we come to find out that, oh, there's twins. And then he goes, wait a second, I thought the twin was dead. And this is when we start to find out that the reason she's assassinating is something tied to these 4 Jedi who apparently were there years ago at some secret something. He is one of them. Carrie Ann Moss's character is one of them. And then we also had, if I'm not mistaken, I can't see in my own review picture. I'm not sure. He's not here. There's some more here. Now behind May, the evil Jedi is, or the evil acolyte is, um, a Sith, as far as I could tell. He's got a red lightsaber. He's hidden his identity from her as well. And his whole thing is he has sent her out to assassinate these four Jedi Masters without using any weapons, is the key, because there's this mythology that Jedi cannot be killed. The lightsabers and the Force make them invincible against steel, against lasers, against all these things. So the idea, for as far as I can tell, is this Sith Master, or whoever's controlling May, the assassin acolyte, is for her to successfully take out a Jedi without using weapons, to show to the galaxy that the Jedi are not this infallible force for good. We also get a sense that even though they are, a force for good, they're also somewhat like, I don't want to say they're abusing their authority, but they're definitely like above everyone. We get this scene where a couple of Jedi Knights come on the transport ship in the beginning, and they don't even give the captain of the ship, who's part of the Trade Federation, a chance to really, he's obviously talking smack and everything, not wanting to tell the truth. They don't even wait. They just mind read, and it's like there's no attempt to have a conversation. It's just like, oh, you're gonna lie to us? Nah. And that just felt very like, oh wow, we're full on just using the Force. Okay, so we're a police, authority above everyone else. Okay, I can dig it. There's a lot going on in these first two episodes to obviously establish the story of this first one. The big thing seems to be is that, many years ago, as I said, the two twin sisters were apparently involved in some sort of a fire. Apparently, May, the evil sister, set fire to this village and killed everyone in it. And he rescued Osha, the twin sister, took her off to be the Jedi. They all thought she was dead. Here we are 16 later. It turns out she's not dead. She's been trained, and she's working for some unknown person to the Jedi, but we do see a glimpse of him at the end of episode 1 with a red lightsaber, going from there. That's the core of the storyline here, and so far I don't see a lot outside of that, which is fine. We're on a hunt now for who's the master, who are the other Jedi that she's going to be taking out. There is the Jedi she manages to take out in the second episode. She doesn't actually kill. She gives poison to, and he says, she has this conversation with him about, this is your redemption, and he's like, please, I ask for your forgiveness, and then he drinks the poison and kills himself. So obviously there was something more sinister about what happened 16 years ago that we just don't know yet, and somehow it's tied to these four Jedi Masters who were there at that point in time. That's all we know so far. One of them is a Wookiee Jedi who we get a glimpse and reveal of at the end of the second episode, and I am super excited for this because Wookiees are notoriously, they are physically, creatures, and not necessarily known for their calmness and their meditative nature. So I'm really interested to see how a Wookiee Jedi works within the framework of this High Republic that they've established. But he's off in hiding on this other planet, and that's the reveal we got at the end. So at the end of episode 2, I don't know who her character. Oop, I'm pointing the wrong way. I don't know who her character is yet because we haven't been introduced to her yet. This is Daphne Keene's character. This guy's pretty awesome. He's like a freshly minted Jedi Knight, and then she is like his boss. So there's a lot going on here with a lot of brand new characters that we have to, figure out who they are yet and learn more about them. Now, I think what makes me so excited about this is just some of the things I saw in this first episode. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Were some of the hallmarks of like Star Wars, like what I would call visual craft. So there was a scene when we're getting on a Kashyyyk, or not Kashyyyk, but a scene when we're going to the planet where the Wookiee is. I say Kashyyyk because it's Wookiees. And there's like this branch of trees, and there's like these puffer plants, and it's a panning shot that's kind of panning back and showing the planet. And I just love little practical things like that where it's not all visual effects. The sets look great. The costumes are pretty cool. The lightsabers, I will say, I saw somebody say on Twitter, and I will agree with the critique. The lightsabers look a little fat compared to what we saw in like the prequel trilogies, the original movies, and then the whole Skywalker saga essentially, and everything we've seen since then. And I'm wondering if that's because this is the new, they're using the new lightsabers, which aren't the old like rods that are then VFX'd afterwards. They're these new ones that are, they're there. Like there's some beautiful shots of lightsabers, which they showed up in the Kenobi show as well. I would have to go back and rewatch Kenobi and see if those were also the fatter lightsabers, but I'm imagining it has something to do with the fact that these are actual practical swords. Um, Daphne Keene, by the way, has been doing a lot of press recently in English and Spanish. Her Spanish interviews are awesome because she's been talking about how like she broke several of the lightsabers when she was learning how to use them, because they obviously aren't indestructible. But there's a lot going on here. I will say that the initial fight scene with Carrie Ann Moss's character in the first episode, I wasn't a huge fan. It felt a little over choreographed. But then the fight scene we got with him, between him and May, that fight scene was very like Matrix Kung Fu style. There was no lightsabers involved. It was all, and he even questions her. He's like, "Why are you attacking me with no weapons?" Because he doesn't know her mandate is to like attack, kill a Jedi with no weapons. So it was a really cool fight sequence that went down. It was very well done, very well choreographed. It didn't feel overly done. It felt very natural. It looked really good on camera. But the first one out of the gate in that first episode did feel a little over the top, and you could tell that it had been rehearsed so many times. It just didn't feel quite natural. So it's not a perfect season premiere. I do have my critiques. But overall, oh, look, I have one of these little spines from the cats they bring in. But overall, I'm very, very happy. If I had to give the season premiere rating, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Mostly what's taking away from me is some of the fight sequences, like I said at the very beginning, felt a little over choreographed. And there are some, like, what I felt were overly dramatic moments with the discussions between his character and his boss lady, who seems to just be a stuffy Jedi biatch. And the dialogue felt a little off. And that may be not taking away from his performance. He's doing a great job. And again, he learned English for this role. So there may be some of that at play as well that I may be picking up on unconsciously. But overall, very, very satisfied with the first two episodes of the season premiere, and I cannot wait to see where the rest of the show go. The thing I'm most excited for here is A, it's more Star Wars, but B, new territory, like I said at the beginning of this review. So there's nothing established. So no one has any room to complain that it's not tied into like established lore or canon, because this is stuff that all came before. So they have the framework to kind of do whatever they want and set up a brand new, and which is what they've been working on for the past few years with the High Republic era. I've not read any of the comics. I've not read any of the novels. This is the first High Republic content that I'm consuming. I'm intrigued. I want to know more. I can't wait to see the rest of the episodes, and hopefully you're going to be along for the ride, because I will be reviewing them throughout the month as we continue to watch Star Wars: The Acolyte as they come out every week on Disney+. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Love to hear your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Don't forget daily streams here and on Twitch. There's a Discord, a Patreon, and I'll see everybody in the next one. May the Force be with you, everybody.